Hi everyone, I'm Joe Guzzo, and you're watching Folk Project Television. We have a very different episode for you today, and that is one that we're going to feature one of the other stay-away activities that take place right now during this pandemic. And that activity is the Songwriter Circle, hosted by Dave Kleiner. Dave is going to talk to us about what goes on, and then we're going to feature a number of musicians that have wrote some songs. Now, I want to apologize in advance. We had quite a few musicians come on the show. But due to various difficulties that we might have had either with the sound quality or the quality of the picture, plus the fact that there were just far too many to put into a single show, I have pulled out, I believe it's 6 of the performances. And from those 6 performances, you get a chance to see a nice selection of music. Now understand that the Songwriter Circle is not just about writing the songs, but the Songwriter Circle is about helping each other improve those songs. So we're going to let Dave explain all that to you in more detail, and we're going to get right to it right now because it is a pretty long show. So hang on to your hats. Here we go. Well, I'd like to welcome Dave Kleiner to the show today. Dave, how are you today?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. Before we get started on anything, why don't you tell us a little bit how you're coping with this pandemic and these, isolations that we're doing?
Well, I know we're here to talk about the Song Circle, which is, maybe I'm getting a little ahead of us here. In general, in my life, I'm a school teacher. I teach elementary, and it's been quite a challenge to reach young children. We're using Google Meet, and I teach in Clifton, New Jersey. And it's the only thing I wish we had when we go back into the classroom is a mute button for the children. One of the hardest things about teaching elementary is getting all their attention and getting everybody to be quiet. And
I can imagine that's a challenge.
Yeah, and my present job, I'm a basic skills teacher, which means I jump in all different grade levels from kindergarten to 5th grade and help kids that are struggling. So, the kindergarten and first grades, you're looking at a screen, it looks like you're watching a living jigsaw puzzle or something. The kids are moving and they're doing headstands and they're like, mute your mic, turn it off, turn it on, turn it on. It's really, they're losing a lot socially. But I personally, I'm coping as best I can. I go for nice walks every day in my neighborhood here in Bloomfield, and I work from home, and I haven't gone to the school building in several weeks since before the holiday break.
We want you to stay safe.
Yeah, my wife is downstairs right now. Liz Pagan's teaching yoga on Zoom as we speak. Through the adult school in South Orange, Maplewood, and so she's got that going on, and I'm coping well. I just want to stay healthy and keep going.
I hear you. So let's start talking now about the Song Circle. First of all, I heard about the Song Circle only after joining Folk Project. I didn't realize there was anything like that out there. I had worked for a very, very short period of time with 3 other people on a songwriters thing that we were doing for a short period of time at her, but we were going from a number of houses, and it was not an official thing, and we didn't have, it wasn't Meetup or it wasn't associated with any particular organization, but that's how I got to learn that there were such things as song circles and songwriters meetings and things. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the history? When did you guys get started? And we'll go from there.
So I wish I knew the exact beginning date, but it was the early 90s. And I know that because we actually put out a recording in 1993 we were so happy with the songs that we were getting out of this process that we put out a CD back then. So I know it was at least 92, if not 91, when we started. And there was a group in New York led by Jack Hardy, who unfortunately has left us. But that group continues to meet, and they meet every week in Jack's apartment in the Village, and in Soho, I guess it is. And no, right on right on no Houston Street. And the idea is to keep you actively writing and getting feedback from other songwriters. So we thought we should do a New Jersey version because it's kind of a hassle to go into Manhattan on a weeknight. So Liza DiSavino was a very active member of the Folk Project back then, and she lived up in Towacco. So we would go to her house once a month, and we would draw a theme, which is what I'm using now for the theme. People would put in random themes, but it was optional. You didn't have to write on the theme. And as it was more or less modeled after Jack Hardy's model, which is that we're focused on songwriting as an art and a craft rather than as a business. Right. So we spent a lot of time talking about how to get your copyright and how to get your song recorded by an act and all that. There's an NSAI, Nashville Association, that does that. There's Songwriters Guild. There's a lot of associations that focus on the commercial part of songwriting. I mean, we'd be happy to have a hit record, of course, but that's not what we're about. We're about the art and craft and the personal expression of songwriting. So we'd meet once a month, and it went on for quite a long time at Liza's house until they moved. Then it kind of floated around for a while, and I kind of lost involvement then. I know Scott Sheldon was involved for a while. Tom Picard kept it going. And I wish I was better at keeping records, but it was probably about 6 years ago that it moved to my house once a month here in Bloomfield. And then when Mark Schaefer came up with the stay away concept, he said, want to do it once a week? I was like, once a week? I don't know if I can handle once a week. But since I don't have to drive anywhere and I don't have to vacuum and clean my house, it's not that bad. Here into the attic, and I sit down at the computer and turn it on every Thursday night. And we meet at 7 o'clock every Thursday night. Everybody's welcome to join us. You can always get the code, little plug here. You can always get the code at stayaway.folkproject.org. And we meet at 7 o'clock. You don't have to perform a song. You can just come to listen, come to critique. We try to be gentle to each other, but constructive. And we always say, well, this is only my opinion, but this is what I would do if I was writing this song.
Right. I just want to let the viewers know that I have been to a few, so I'm familiar with it. I don't want anybody to be misled into thinking that you're telling me this for the first time. It's the benefit of your knowledge that I'm looking to get out to the rest of to my viewers, to let them know, first of all, that you're doing this, and what it entails, and what we hope to accomplish. And you're doing a wonderful job of explaining all that. So go ahead. I'll let you continue.
Well, that pretty much brings us up to date. But the really cool thing that we can do on Zoom that we can't do in person is people that have moved away, or people that never lived in New Jersey but are interested in and don't have a songwriting group in their area, have been joining us. And I don't know who we're going to see on this recording today of one of our meetings, but we have, like, Tom Picard is in Michigan, Dennis Doherty's in North Carolina. These are former New Jersey Folk Project people who moved away. Tina Ross, who's in New York State, has become a really good, regular, strong singer and songwriter in our group. And what a gem. And she probably never would have come to Bloomfield to a songwriting group.
Right.
She's also a Monday night Jack Hardy group that continues to meet on Zoom. So that's been one big advantage, is that we can now draw in people from anywhere that can join us. And so that's an advantage. The disadvantage, of course, is it's very hard to collaborate, I find, on Zoom. It's in real time. You kind of have to send people things back and forth and work on them. Maybe have a meeting like we're doing right now and talk about what you're writing. But to co-writing on Zoom it's happening. A lot of people are doing it, and people like Taylor Swift, who put out 2 CDs during the pandemic already, by co-writing on Zoom. So like, we have to kind of look at the bright side, because whoever predicted this would happen to us here, that we'd have a pandemic like this. It's amazing. So,
You mentioned earlier, you showed us the bucket or the container with the challenges. What exact, for our audience sake, what exactly are the challenges? What does that mean?
I wouldn't call them challenges, I call them themes. It could be a topic. I don't want to spoil anything. Like this week, the topic was meeting your boss who's half your age. So, so far, nobody's taken up that challenge, or you call it a challenge. I call it a theme. Same semantics. And we might have things like fishing, write a song about fishing, or it could be something like write a blues song in the key of G. You know, it could be something like that, like a type of song. So it could be a lyrical. And what you find a lot of times is the theme will inspire something else and lead to a song that maybe you never would have thought of otherwise. It's just a motivator to get you going, to get the creative process started. For example, there was one personal trainer, meeting your personal trainer. And I came up with the idea of personal train wreck. And so I took the trainer, then somebody else took the T off and made it about rain, about it raining. So you were very free. It's creative process, very open, and you never know what to come up with until you start working with it. Yeah.
Well, that's a great idea. I know that you had one, I guess it was the first or second week that I had attended just to explore. Oh yeah, yeah. What's going on? Yeah, when I attended one of the meetings, I forget what the. It was funny because the challenge that you had put out, I think it was about. It had something to do with illness or sickness or. I forget exactly what it was now, but it was a couple months ago. I actually wrote a song. I enjoyed writing the song. I enjoyed the way it came out. I don't know if I'll ever use it for anything, but I like the way the themes give you a chance to, it sort of like tweaks the brain box a little bit, gets you thinking about something you may not otherwise, bring to life. And this gives you a chance to bring that to life. So that's a great idea.
Watching this that would like to take the challenge of the theme, but can't come to our meetings on Thursday night because you have other commitments. I do have an email list. I send out one email a week and if there's a new theme, it will be on the email. So if they wanted to send me, can I say my email address?
Yeah, go ahead, say it out loud and I'll put a banner up.
It's a little old school. It's daveythek at AOL.com. DAVEYTHEK at AOL.com. And when I send out the list, it's blind CC, so nobody's going to see your name or anything. You're not going to get any spam from it. And you just get the email every week. And if you ever are available on a Thursday night to join us, then you're always welcome to join us.
Okay, great. I will make sure that we get the word out to our viewers. Now, when you have your performers come on, the various people that want to show off something new or what they've come up with, your personal preference, do you prefer that they do it live, or do you like better when they do a recording and play you something that's already pretty well put together?
It's really the personal preference of the musician. Some people are really beginners on their instrument, are not really accomplished on an instrument, but they're great writers. So for them, I would be easier for them to record it in advance so they can do multiple takes until they get one they're happy with. I kind of like doing it live because you get so caught up in the technology of sharing, and it takes a lot of time to prepare it. And I'm not real quick at recording technology. So I'd rather just I will share the lyrics on the screen. And then, because we really look a lot at lyrics in this group. And so I would share the lyrics and do the song live with a guitar. If you play a flute or something like that, it's a little hard to sing the song and play your flute at the same time. Right, so that's really a personal choice. Someone like Dennis Doherty, who's really good at recording, he'll do fully produced. He'll write a song on Tuesday, and by Thursday he'll have a record with. He'll play us a recording with bass, accordion, drums, multiple vocals, a whole production, where that would take me the entire month to do one of those. So that's really a personal thing. But
That's
usually in the beginning, we were really having a trouble with sound. I know Zoom has improved, has some more selections for sound quality, high fidelity sound. It sounded so bad when we first started back in April or whatever that was. And things have gotten better as Zoom has become, more aware of how people are using Zoom, I think, in the market. And I thought they're going to keep improving it as time goes by.
Yeah, there's
So
actually a checkbox now on the audio settings. There's a little checkbox. If you're going to be doing music, it enhances the sound of the music a little bit. So that's a nice
yeah.
additive that they put onto the Zoom platform.
So we all went through this big learning curve with remote, I call it remote learning, but in this case, it's remote musicking. So we've really come a long way in the last 9 months we've been doing this. It's amazing. Who thought it would go this long? Who thought it would go this long? Mark Schaefer. He foresaw the future. He knew it was going to be a while before. That's why he started
actually
this.
has a lot of faith in all of us. So I can't. He kind of threw what I'm doing now, the show at me and said, "Okay, here's what I'm thinking," and then he gave me what he thought. And he says, "Now you could take and do everything that I said, or you could tell me, go stuff it and do your own thing." He says, "I don't care. Just go ahead and do it." So of course it's kind of been a melange of his ideas and my ideas. So it came out well, at least so far. I don't know that it can't be improved. Of course, it always can, but it's nice to. I'm sure he did the same thing with you to just encourage you to get it started, and of course keep it going. Now it's on its own weight.
Well, we thought about in the beginning. I thought maybe we'll invite really well-known songwriters to come in as guests, and but it kind of overlaps with what the Folk Project is doing with their concerts, with the Stay Away concerts. And we have the Monday night meetings where you can do like a song search, round robin. So it seems like just focusing on this simple process of you play a song and we talk about the song, and
Right.
then we go to the next song. It just seems to work. Because it's always new every week. Whatever people bring every week, it's going to be something new.
I've noticed in the few sessions that I was able to attend that it seems like there's a concentration on the lyric more so than the music. Although I have heard a few things where you might want to tweak this by making a slight change to your chords, or instead of calling, a lot of it's semantics. Like, instead of calling it a bridge, call it a chorus. Instead of calling it that, call it a pre-chorus. That's kind of, it doesn't affect the sound of the song. It just affects the way the way you think of the song. But I've noticed that there is a lot of concentration on saying something better than you may have already said that particular part of the verse or part of the chorus, even one of my
You're
songs,
absolutely right.
I got that feedback.
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right. And I'm thinking about it just now, why that is, and probably because we come out of the folk world, which is really, people will use the same melody over and over again in folk songs and add new lyrics and update the lyrics. And it's just part of the folk process. So I think in folk music, we do focus more on lyric content than the structure of the music melodically and harmonically. But some of us come from the commercial or the country world. The country is very focused on lyrics as well. But rock and roll and pop music, lyrics are almost incidental sometimes. Just whatever fits the beat. It's more rhythmic and melodically oriented.
That's the old stereotype on the country. If you write about a dog, a truck, and a bottle of booze, you could write a country song. But
yeah.
We know that's not true, but it's funny when people say that.
It hasn't changed much, I tell you, as far as the lyrical content. The music of country music has become a lot more rock and roll sounding, but they sing a lot about things in in rural world, in the rural
Mhm.
world. But
So in other words,
now,
you'd be very okay if someone did drop in.
oh, sure, come on. James Taylor, you want to join our song circle tonight?
Yeah, thanks.
Come
Why don't you tell? I know you you have something going on special on the YouTube channel. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Dave's song today?
Thank you, thank you. Well, I like having goals, and I like setting. I just think it keeps my life more interesting if I have goals, achievable goals. So last year, 2020, I started the year. I was going to post one photo each day on Facebook, not knowing what 2020 would bring, of course. So that turned out a lot more photos of my neighborhood and animals and plants in the neighborhood than I thought to be showing pictures of my travels around the world. So I'm thinking, what am I going to do to top that for 2021? Well, I'm going to do a song every day. So that's what I'm doing. It's called Dave's Song Today. It's a YouTube channel. I wish you would give it a try. And if you like it, subscribe. If you don't like it, subscribe anyway. It doesn't cost anything. And I'm going to make a new video. They're not all new songs. There's no way I'm writing a new song every day. When I did some research, I found there is a guy, Song of the Day, who's done over 7,000 original songs continuously, has not missed a day. He's in the Guinness Book of World Records. So I'm not competing with him. I'm just going to try to do 365 videos. They might at some point start being cover tunes. So far, we're talking to you. What is today? January 16th. So
Yes.
far today, I have only done originals, but you could go back and look at them if you'd like. Some of them are on my CDs. I've released 4 CDs of original songs, but a lot of them are songs that have been sitting in my notebooks and in my old cassette tapes that have never been heard by the public. So that's one of my other rationale for doing this. It's part of my rationale is to get these songs that are in notebooks that someday when I'll just probably end up tossing them out, or the person that finds them after I'm gone will toss them out, and those songs will be forgotten. So this way, at least they'll be somewhere in the cyber world. They'll be on YouTube. So that's part of it. And it also, as a full-time teacher, sometimes I don't get time to do music. So this will force me to do music every day. So that's what Dave's song today is about. Check it out. Check it out.
We will definitely look for it. You have a been doing this for a while now, and do you have any words of encouragement or any thoughts you might want to share with our viewers that maybe encourage them to join us? I want to add before I let you start, I did want to mention that some of the people, as you had mentioned earlier, have less talent with their instruments or may not have the greatest voices, but they're just great lyricists, or there's something about their music that's just hauntingly beautiful, or has a message that can't be beat. So I think it's important that people know that you don't have to be a professional level writer or singer or musician to be a part of this. All you have to do is show up, get your ideas out there. What kind of words of encouragement do you have for folks like that?
Songwriting has really helped me get through difficult times in my life, such things like divorce and other issues in my life. And so, some people express themselves through painting or through poetry, which is very close to songwriting. It's a great way to express yourself. It doesn't matter how good a musician you think you are. If you have an idea, if you enjoy singing, if you just want to put it down on paper and give it to another person that knows how to play an instrument, and they can play it for you, give it a melody. Everybody everybody benefits from expressing themselves creatively, I think.
Hmm.
And coming up from I've been writing. I never really planned to be doing this for so long. When I was very young, I was writing songs when I was 11, 12 years old. and my parents had a music store in California, New Jersey, House of Guitars. And so for my bar mitzvah, I received a 5-inch reel-to-reel tape recorder.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I spent my time. I come home from school, and when I was 13, 14 years old, and just make imaginary record albums. You know, I would do the artwork, and I would make the little lyric book that came with it. And it was a great way to, it was also a way to learn how to play the instrument, because when I would hear something, let's say I heard Blackbird by the Beatles, I would try to figure it out on the guitar, and then I would change it and turn it into an original song. And so it helped me become a better guitar player, to integrate what I heard on records into my own playing. So there's so many benefits of songwriting, and it's, you know, self-expression, creative processes always opens you up emotionally. It's relaxing. What can I say?
Mm-hmm.
It's a great.
Well, we'll hopefully get you some more people wanting to check it out. And just to repeat, that is on Thursdays, every Thursday, and it starts at 7 p.m. and generally runs for 2 full hours, during which time a person, a musician, or a group, you know, 2 people or 3, you know, whatever it is, will play a song, and then they'll get a few minutes up. What are you, about 20 minutes of critique for a song?
Yeah, the amount of time depends on the song. It depends on how many people we have waiting. But yeah, maybe 15, you know, and some nights we go past 9,
Mm-hmm.
9 o'clock. So, but generally I would like to be done by 9:30, the latest, because I have to get up in the morning and deal with young children in my classroom.
Instead of us older children.
Well, that's the other thing. I'm spending so much time staring at screens all day. And there's lots of great songwriting workshops and things going on the weekends coming up. But I'm hesitant to sign up because, you know, I don't think it's healthy to be staring at this screen for 12 hours a day. I could do a search on the web and find it. But yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if it's particularly my eyes, but just also you're sitting in one place and you're staring at this one screen. I need to get up and move. When I'm teaching, I'm moving around the room, you know. In fact, for the brief 12 days that we actually went in the building, and we had some kids in the building and some kids on the computer, it was really hard because we weren't allowed to really, they had their plexiglass shields in front of their desks and supposed to go behind them. It was like really fighting my natural urge to circulate in the room, you know, and to help children and to have children work with each other. You know, I try to keep it to a little over 2 hours each week when we meet on Thursday night.
I think we're gonna have to just continue to hunker down for a while. We've gotten a terrible start with the vaccine, and as much as I'd love to get out there, I know you would too. To do so at this point would just, you know, sort of shooting yourself in the foot kind of thing. You never know if it's gonna get yourself exposed to something you really don't want to be exposed to. So, is there anything else you'd like to tell us about? Do you have any other messages for our audience that you'd like to share?
I saw maybe something to kind of give a salute to the Folk Project, because, by the way, the Song Circle was not ever an official committee of the Folk Project. We happen to be Folk Project members. Now we're kind of officially part of it under the Stay Away. But all those years, we were kind of a quasi Folk Project organization. Some people were never to the Folk Project, but I was one of the founders or I was there at the founding meetings. I was young of the Folk Project. And who would have thought in the year 2021 it was still going strong? I mean, you couldn't even have imagined it. You could imagine spaceships going from Bloomfield to Morristown before you could imagine the Folk Project still existing in the year 2021 when we were in the 1970s. So I think very few organizations have been this vital for such a long period of time without constantly asking people to donate to them. How many envelopes and emails do I get every day asking me to donate to various worthy charities. And here's the folk project going on, and nobody's ever begging you for money. And everybody's, because so many people volunteer their time and their effort to keep it going. So thank you, Joe. Thank you, everybody that is helping the folk project keep going.
This
Yeah,
keeps me out of
that's my
trouble.
close.
This keeps me out of trouble.
I hope.
My wife will
Try.
say that, you know, I'm a pretty calm, even-tempered person, but if I didn't have something to occupy myself most of the day, she would be having a different opinion of me by far. So this has really been helpful to keep me sane. And
It is. So thank you for doing this. Thank you for giving the Song Circle a little plug here. I think appreciate it.
well, I will continue to share things with our audience as long as I'm able, and hopefully we'll do this even after the pandemic is over.
Let's hope so. Good job. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. You have a great day, and hopefully we'll be able to pull some music onto the show from people in our song circle.
Okay. You're welcome. Thank you.
Have a good day. Thanks.
All right, here we go. Well, I thought this song would be out of date already. One of those songs you write where it's just so particular to a time, so topical that it has a very short shelf life. This sucker's going to go on forever and ever. It was inspired by the poem written by Ernest Thayer called Casey at the Bat. But this song is called Casey at the Plate. Are you ready, Shar?
I'm ready.
Oh, somewhere in this favored land, the sun is shining bright. The band is playing somewhere, and somewhere hearts are light. And somewhere men are laughing, and somewhere the children shout. But there is no joy in Mudville. Mighty Casey has struck out. Oh, I reported yesterday, perhaps you may have heard, the details daily set in type for the examiner. But stop the phone, hold the presses, here comes the big update. It seems that Mighty Casey is still standing at the plate. Well, Casey stood in wonder as the umpire yelled, "You're out!" But Case would not accept it, plainly there was room for doubt. "You swung the bat, you missed the ball," was all the umpire said. While Casey stood there fuming, flames erupting from his head. I took my swing, but pulled me bat, and never crossed the plate. I'll swear it to the highest courts, up to the pearly gates. I'll never quit, I'll sue you all, you've cheated me once more. I will not move one single inch until you say ball four. Yeah, yes. Now the sun went down, the moon came up, still they made a fuss. The winning team ducked epitaphs a-running for their bus. The Mudville Nine took up the cry, "Poor Casey, you've been robbed." The umpire just threw up his hands, the manager he sobbed. What's happened to our honor? What's happened to the sport? I'm turning in my scorecard now, you all are on report. You heard the umpire call it, so you got to do what's right. I cannot stand the sight of you go slink off through the night. That's right. This reporter is a jaded man. I thought I'd seen it all, from stealing signs, sharpened spikes, and the old bean ball. But now I'm worried for the game. The future is at stake. It seems that mighty Casey is still standing at the plate. Strike two! Strike three! You're out!
So, just gonna say, I try to write in a lot of different styles, genres, use different processes. And about 3 or 4 years ago, I found out that I love to write with other songwriters, to co-write songs. And I've probably written about 60 now, including 2 with Dennis, who just went. So anyway, I find that sort of forces you to try new things. And I've written in 4 different languages. And anyway, I picked this song. I used to write a lot of instrumentals, and this song sort of features the piano, and I feel has strong lyrics, and is called Oh Alaska. Oh Alaska. Garden State Parkway, stop and go. Song about mountains on the radio. I pictured Denali, snowy peaks. Once again, I am 23. I thought I'd stay in the midnight sun, fishing keen-eye salmon runs. Oh, Alaska, wild and free. Oh, Alaska, calling me. Talkeetna girl, Aleutian nights, stories told by the fireside. Dark chocolate hair with matching eyes, off to bed as the sun would rise. Wonder where she is today, and what if I had stayed? Oh, Alaska, wild and free. Oh, Alaska, calling me. Oh, Alaska, wild and free. Last I'm listening. No glacier hikes, no northern lights. Is this my fate? Down in the lower 48. and go, stop and go.
So a little bit about the process of this song, or writing songs in general. This song is very dear to me. It's called Empty, Save It For Me. And it was originally written for an Empty Bowls event, which is an event where people raise money for hunger and food insecurity, where people, potters make bowls, and people bring soup, and people buy bowls, and the money goes for hunger, to support hunger. So we were doing some music with it too, so I wrote this song for that. And so I do find that when I have something to write for, or there's a prompt, or there's something like that, it seems to be a good way to as a beginning process. And the other thing that I find with writing is that when I immerse myself in the character, whoever that is, by either reading about that person, reading about a person, or reading about it, or just if the person is not, if it's not me, and I'm writing about something that's important to me, and if I immerse myself in that character from the first person, then I feel that person more, and that's what this song was. As opposed to watching a hungry person, I am the hungry person. So that seems to be an in for me. So that's my process with this. And there's a round with this, so obviously we can't do the round, but you can do it like by yourself in your muted space if you'd like to. And it's the part that goes, open your hand and your favor sustains all of the living. And when we get to that part, I'll do it 3 times, but it's a round. But so it sounds a little funny because it's not rounding, but there we go. Okay, there we go. I am one of the hungry, one of the faint, invisible before your eyes. I too am blind, mud at my feet, empty I watch you eat. I am one of the tired, I cannot think. Unprotected I shrink. Tell me, do I matter? No one needs me. Empty I watch you eat. And when you reap your harvest, stop before the edge of your field. And when you reap your harvest, don't use the fruit at your heels. Save it for me. Save it for me. Save it for me. Save it for me. I am above the dead, below the living, afraid before your eyes. I see indifference when help is all I seek. Empty I watch you eat. Know me if you see me, I'll try to catch your eyes. I hope I'm not too late. Better yet, please look for me, look for me. And when you reap your harvest, stop before the edge of your field. And when you reap your harvest, don't use the fruit at your heels. Save it for me. Save it for for me. Save it for me. Open your hand, and your favor sustains all of the living. Open your hand, and your favor sustains all of the living. Open your hands, and your favor sustains all of the living. And when you reap your harvest, stop before the edge of your field. And when you reap your harvest, don't use the fruit at your heels. Save it for me. Save it for me. Save it for me. Save it for me. I am one of the hungry, one of the faint, invisible before your eyes.
John Hone.
The song is called The Beast. They gave you a short time to live. Those words must have cut like a shiv, but you had more to give. You smiled as the beast took your strength. You rode all uphill of great length, your courage amazing to me. I was amazed at your grace as you faced down the beach. On and on, your days were filled with much pain, but I never once heard you complain. Drew strength from you again and again. I was amazed at your grace as you faced down the beach. Da 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 da. Da 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 At the end, we hold on to all that we can. Take those pictures of you with our brain and draw strength from you once again. I was amazed at your grace as you faced down the beach. Your grace as you faced down the beach. You'll grace as you face down the beast. You'll grace as you face down the beast.
Nice
Thank
job.
you, thank you. So a little bit about my songwriting process. It almost invariably starts with music, and on this particular song, I had just an arpeggio, and I liked it, and I wanted to develop it. And then I got a lyric inspired by a friend of mine who was fighting cancer. And then I got the analogy and the chorus, but a fragile piece of lyric, and the chorus and the analogy, or the of using the beast as a metaphor for the cancer. And then it just sat for about a year and a half. Then I had a family member who gave me some inspiration as he fought off C. diff in the hospital. And then it really came together when a friend of mine who has since passed away was fighting cancer as well, switched his drugs, and was able to come back and play music with us for about 7 to 8 months. And all three of these people were incredibly resolute and inspirational to me, because they just never complained. They didn't ask for pity. They talked frankly about what they were going through. And fortunately, one of them is still alive. And so it was a privilege to write this song, and it was just sort of a triumvirate of inspiration for me on this. But again, it took about 2 years to coalesce. Thank you again for the opportunity.
Great. Thanks, John. And okay. This is one of those songs where you get a little line and you think, I'm going to write a song around that line, but the song takes its own direction sometimes. So it's kind of a song about my generation, a generation that came of age in the 60s, early 70s, and we're in the Y, and we're shaving in the Y, and we're so the key was shaving in the Y. For some reason, I'm seeing J Stu on the big screen on my computer. I don't know why. And I'm assuming what I see on my screen is what's going to be on the recording. So I'm going to, maybe if I tap on it, let me see me. Okay, I don't care if they see me, they can hear me. Remember how we felt. We didn't have a care. We were going to stop the war. We would never cut our hair. But time can be a trickster. It's here and then it's gone. All we're left with is our memories, our wrinkles and our songs. Our dreams were all that mattered. The rules did not apply. Now we're grayer and we're fatter. And we're shaving at the Y. Running on the treadmill, lifting up the weights, swimming in the lap pool, pondering our fate. not be shattered. We would soar above the sky. We're grayer and we're fatter. And we're shaving at the Y. The finish line draws nearer with each day that passes by. Who's that old man in the mirror? Why is he shaving at the why? Why, oh, why, oh, why, oh, why? Why is he shaving at the why? Why, oh, why, oh, why, oh, why? Why am I shaving at the why?
Okay, so yeah, let me talk about this. This is a song I wrote a few months back, and I've already presented it to this group. And I picked it for tonight because it's about songwriting. Although I think hopefully it applies to other creative work. And I guess that's all I'm going to say about it. This is how I take out the garbage in my brain. This is how I deal with the sorrow and the pain. This is how I keep myself from ending up insane. This is what I do sometimes. This is how I explain what I think and feel. This is how I figure out if what I feel is real. This is how I offer the world an honest deal. This is what I do sometimes. I'm not too proud to cry out loud in pursuit of my vision. Making rhymes, not wasting time waiting for permission. This is how I answer the questions in my soul. This is how I manage to fill an empty hole. This is how I create diamonds out of coal. This is what I do sometimes. This is what I do sometimes.
Well, that's it for another episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it educational. Please, I do encourage you, if you're interested in writing songs, regardless of whether you can sing or play, if you have something that you would like to have performed, get in touch with Dave Kleiner. You can also get in touch with Dave through myself. Just write to me and I'll make sure that he gets the message. We'll find you somebody who'll sing or play or back you up in any manner you need in order to get your music out here in front of everyone. Don't be bashful. Don't be shy. This is about the music. And we are always looking for new talent. So don't hesitate to give us a shout. As you know, the pandemic is still going on. We still have a lot of stuff out there that we have no control over. One of them is the fact that the pandemic is mutating And now there's some new different strains and varieties out there, far, far more contagious than those that were out there before. I suspect as these continue to change and mutate, they might become even more dangerous than they already are. So let's use our brains. Let's stay smart about this. Don't go out there without a mask. If you have to go out, make sure you maintain a good social distance from your, whoever you might come in contact with. And be sure to wash your hands if you touch anything that's not within your home. You go out shopping, you do anything pretty much, picking mail out of your mailbox. Make sure you give it a chance to get sterilized, whether you're using a black light, UV rays, I think it's UVC, or whether you're using alcohol, or whether you're using soap and water. Make sure you get everything nice and clean before you come in contact with it. And make sure you take care of yourselves and your families. You've made it this far. We'll make it the rest of the way, so be smart about it. Now, as far as I'm concerned, it's all about the music. So make sure you take the time to listen to it. Make sure you take the time to enjoy what's out there. And as I always say, keep peace in your heart. Thanks so much for listening to the show. Look forward to seeing you next week when we'll have another special guest on the show, Steve Benson. Now, Steve is a Broadway performer. He has been around for years and years, and we're going to have some original music from him, as well as a little collaboration between himself and me. So you'll get to hear some of what he does on that show. Look forward to seeing you then. Until then,